Guys, Shaker Allen will come back at you with another video, and today we're back and we're doing our edge rusher rankings. These will be my last position rankings for 2022 NFL Draft. Sorry I could not get them out in time. I don't know why I thought that if I started in April I could get them all done. I was doing so good. I had like the running. I did get once a week done though, so I think that should be a goal for next year to get one a week done. But yeah, these are my 2022 edge rankings. Hope you guys enjoy. The draft is next Thursday. It is Friday. Super excited. Let's hop into this. Hang on. We got to talk about something real quick before we start. There are some players that are not going to be on here. Most importantly, Boye Mafe. If you guys know, he could potentially be a fringe first-round pick. Back into the first-round guy. And I don't like Boye Mafe. I do not think he's a first-round player. I think he's probably like a fourth-round player. But his freak athleticism and great Senior Bowl have propelled him potentially be a late first-round, early second-round guy. And I just don't think so. I do not think he's that great of a player. He's really raw in the run and pass rushing departments, and he often gets bullied. Okay, so let's hop into the rankings now. At number 10, we got Myjai Sanders out of Cincinnati. This guy has very good burst off the ball. I see, personally, people aren't too high on him, but I think he's going to be a decent player. Probably a third-round player for me. I really don't think Myjai Sanders is Myjai, I think. Myjai or Myjai, I'm not sure. But I really don't think he's too bad. Was on a Cincinnati defense where corners were making plays. Like Sauce Gardner could potentially go top 10. Kobe Bryant's the guy who won the Best Corner of the Year award for college football. Probably should have been Sauce Gardner, but it doesn't make a difference. Secondary was making plays, and Myjai Sanders sometimes goes unnoticed, but he's definitely making plays. At 9, I have George Karlaftis. This is going to surprise a lot of people. Lots of people are high on this guy. And I just see a decent player when I watch George Karlaftis. He's not a crazy athlete at all by any means. He's pretty good against the run, but I often don't see him being pretty good against the run. This is what people say he's good at. He's great against the run, has a high motor, great power rusher. I do think he has a high motor, but the just athleticism doesn't jump off the table with me. And I don't see him making consistent plays. Because he's like barely moving behind the offensive line. I don't know, man. He doesn't feel that powerful. He doesn't feel that athletic. I don't know, man. I don't think George Karlaftis is a first-round player for me. At 8, I have Arnold Ekakitie. This is a guy who's a pass rusher for sure. And is decent against the run, in my opinion. I believe he was a transfer from Temple. Came over to Penn State this season. It was pretty good for the Lions, for sure. I definitely don't hate Arnold Ekakitie. I think he's going to be a decent player. It's pretty consistent pass rush. That's something that I look for in pass rushers. Somebody that will consistently be in the quarterback's face, and that is something that Arnold Ekakitie is pretty good at. And at 7, we have Drake Jackson. I'm not positive on this, but I think he was a pretty highly recruited. Most of USC's recruits are pretty highly recruited players. Went over to USC and didn't really have the production that you would have liked to see. But I don't think Drake Jackson's all that bad. He's a pretty big guy overall. He's a pretty good athlete. He's pretty good at a lot of things. But definitely wreaks havoc. I think the athleticism is definitely there, and it helps him in these games, in the games that you watch. I think Drake Jackson's a pretty good player. And at number 6, sorry about that, we have Cameron Thomas from San Diego State. This guy is big enough to play a defensive tackle role at the next level. Probably a 3-4 defensive end. I don't know, though. I feel like he's an edge rusher, and he's a very good edge rusher at that. He's very powerful. He's a great run defender. He's a very big guy. So, he can get past the O-lineman, the biggest guys. But I really like Cameron Thomas. you should stop sleeping on him. Because at the beginning of draft season, I think I did like a 2-round mock draft or something. I didn't even have him going first 2 rounds. Because nobody was talking about this guy. But then you watch this guy on film and you're like, this could definitely be a first-round player. When you look at his tape, probably early second round, late first round guy. That's the range that you'll definitely see him go, for sure. At number 5, we got David Jabo. Despite the injury, I still think this guy is going to be a fantastic player. Don't sleep on David Jabo, in my opinion. Because he has so crazy athleticism that it's just unreal. He has not played the sport long. I think in a few years, we could consider this guy as an absolute steal. A real concern with him right now is that he's already a little bit raw, and then he's not going to play much his first season due to a torn Achilles at his pro day, which absolutely sucks, but he shouldn't go to college in the first place. I like Ohio State, as we know here on the channel, but David Jabo, he's a great player, in my opinion. The athleticism, I think, will definitely translate into the NFL. I like the player here. I do not think he's a bad player at all. And now here's something that's going to surprise some guys, as this could potentially be the number 1 overall pick in the draft, Trayvon Walker. I'm not too high on Trayvon Walker as other guys are. I think he's a pretty good run defender. That definitely goes without saying. The pass rush is not there for me. But what I had to kind of explain to people was his athleticism. It is absolutely crazy. I did not realize how good his athleticism was. It is so unbelievable. Okay, so let me put this in perspective for you. He's 275 pounds. He's 6'5", and he ran 4.51. Let me put this in perspective. 4.51 is about roughly 90 speed in Madden. This was a guy who ran faster than Kyler Gordon, a guy who could have potentially been the fastest player in this draft class. And this man ran faster than he did. That is unbelievable. Like something crazy, like the best 3-cone in NFL history or something. Something crazy like that for his position. Top, almost 10 out of 10 athletic score. Trayvon Walker is a beast, but I just don't see it in the pass rushing game yet. I think it will definitely translate over to the NFL, though. Now, here's the guy that I'm really high on now. Is Jermaine Johnson from Florida State. I think he has the ability to be good, to be just phenomenal at the next level. He was a guy who was at Georgia for a few seasons and played in a mixture role. Transferred to Florida State, was a permanent starter on the Florida State defense. And he was unbelievable. Probably the best run defensive pass rusher in this draft. And then I don't hate anything else really about him. His pass rush is pretty good. I watched probably his most unreal game. He just flies in there at the quarterback, and the quarterback can't get out of this man's grasp. But Jermaine Johnson is a great player. Oh, and another thing, this guy was the best player at the Senior Bowl by far. He didn't even practice the last few days because he said, "I am the best player at the Senior Bowl," and he showed it at the Senior Bowl. He was unreal. At number 2, we got Kvon Thibodeaux out of Oregon. This is another guy I'm super high on. I do not think that this man should fall in the draft. Out of Oregon in his freshman season, Kvon Thibodeaux was going to be the number 1 overall pick. He probably should be the number 1 overall pick still, but, injuries this past season, consistent play, but, people don't like him as much. I think this guy's unbelievable. Fights through double teams, just breaks through the entire offensive line. But remember Max Borgi that I talked about in my running back rankings video. Max Borgi was handling Kvon Thibodeaux in the pass rushing game. Kvon Thibodeaux's weakness is Max Borgi. I'm telling you, Max Borgi is going to be elite at the NFL level. Max Borgi is my favorite player. Okay, that's not what not what we're talking about. We're talking about Thibodeaux. I think Thibodeau's going to be unreal in the NFL for sure. And at number 1, we got Aiden Hutchinson, the consensus number 1 overall pick right now. I'd say Trayvon Walker could still potentially go number 1. I think Thibodeaux has the tools to go number 1. If the Jags really want a lineman, they could go Akwamu or Evan Neal number 1. But Aiden Hutchinson is probably going to go number 1, is what everyone thinks. And rightfully so. He just breaks through an entire offensive line. It's unreal. If you watch him, he just stands out, consistently gets to the quarterback. You see David Jabo flying in there at times. The Michigan pass rush was unreal this past season. And yeah, these are my 2022 edge rankings. Next year, I should probably do a better job of explaining why the best player at their position is the best, because video normally ends quite quickly after that. But these are my 2022 edge rankings. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.